Alrighty guys, we're back for Conqueror Reanimator, and this is a Foundation Standard Brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, this was a suggestion over in the Discord, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. We got a couple Bloodthirsty Conquerors, 5 mana, 5/5, flying, death touch, okay. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. Okay, we're going to be pairing this with Enduring Tenacity as a 2-of in here as well. It's a 4 mana 4/3. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Cool little combo, but we're actually not fully leaning into that combo. We're just fully leaning into push and pull instead. Only a 3-of in here because there are going to be moments where if we have all 4 of these, you're only going to see your pools and none of your actual top end. Also got to do some rearranging because there's going to be unfortunate moments where you actually have to play this as the push side and destroy target tapped creature. But the pull side, 6 mana sorcery, put up to 2 target creature cards from a single graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. They gain haste until end of turn. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. So the goal here is to say, no matter what we pull from our graveyard, we're going to win that turn. That's kind of like the concept of the deck list. So whether it's like an infinite combo between Bloodthirsty Conqueror and Tenacity, or just a boatload of damage with something like Vein Ripper, making the cut as a 2-of. Got a couple Valgavoths here too, nice. We also have an Aurelia, the Warleader. 6 mana, a lot of Boros colors up there in the casting cost. It's a 6 mana 3/4 flying, vigilance, haste, and whenever Aurelia attacks for the first time each turn, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Cool stuff. And then also pulling any of those top-end creatures back with a Bloodletter of Aclazotz is also going to be very terrifying for the opponent. And of course, a Bloodletter is 4 mana, 2/4 with flying, triple black in the casting cost, but don't worry, the deck list is heavily leaning towards the black mana anyways. Because that's just how I set it up, right? It's specifically for Bloodletter, but if an opponent would lose life during your turn, they lose twice that much life instead. Awesome. So, of course, we're going to be pairing that with a single Unstoppable Slasher, too. Yeah, we got a lot of different things packed in. And again, the goal here is to win the turn that we pull something out of our grave. So we just have a whole bunch of little combos and stuff and a whole bunch of ways to just push through an excessive amount of damage. Okay, well, if we're doing all that fancy stuff on the top end, then we have to survive somehow. Well, a couple bitter triumphs, well, actually 3 bitter triumphs and then 3 bitter reunions. I'm definitely going to be switching these names around the entire video as I usually do when they're in the same deck list, but both of those are going to be great ways to get that top end into the grave. Have a couple Lilianas, another way to get that top end into the grave, also just acting as more spot removal. Bit of ramp in here with 3 Bandits Hall. I've been having a lot of success with Bandits Hall. I think it's really going to do the thing in here as well. We also have 3 Duress to help hit the opponent's counter spells, because you want to rip those counter spells out of the opponent's hand before they counter our pool, right? And then, of course, Duress is hardly going to miss. Usually when you play Duress, it's going to hit something from someone, you know? Would you have a lonely little board wipe here? Is it enough? Probably not, but Deadly Cover-Up will do the thing when we see it. Also, more removal, Virtue of Persistence, also acting as late game way to bring our creatures back. We also have Zombify in here, guys. It's a 4 mana sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Nice. So you could also play over here in the honorable mentions Rite of the Moth, right? It's also just 4 mana, and we already have white mana in here anyways. Sorcery speed does the same thing. However, it comes back with a finality counter. But the plus side to that is it has flashback as well, so we can play it again later on. However, once our creature dies, which is probably inevitable, there's a lot of spot removal floating about. The finality counter, of course, will exile it, so we won't be able to bring it back again from the grave with our pool. So opting for Zombify instead, I don't know, it just kind of makes sense to me. But yeah, Rite of the Moth, definitely something to consider here. I would say Rite of the Moth would be the pick if we were not strategically putting stuff into the grave, instead randomly putting stuff into the grave with something like Overlord, right? Overlord milling, then Rite of the Moth would be the choice, because if we accidentally mill it, then we could flash it back at some point. But it's not what we're doing. We're actually just strategically discarding things to our grave instead, or just actually outright playing a lot of our top end, letting the opponent kill the stuff, and then bring them back anyways, right? Some other honorable mentions, Starscape Cleric is definitely something to consider with the Bloodthirsty Conqueror, but yeah, again, we're not really fully leaning into the combo. Ghost Vacuum is a card that I considered for the list, and then Unholy Annex as well is something I consider since we're playing Bloodletter that happens to be a demon. The mana base, guys. I thought about the mana base for a while. Hopefully I landed on something. I'm not going to take the time to actually go over it right now. We'll talk more about the mana base in the final thoughts, and maybe at that point too, maybe we'll have to change it up or something as well. So guys, I do my dandies to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take this into some ranked and see how we do. All right, getting into that first game. What am I expecting from the build? I have no idea. We probably don't have enough removal, honestly. When we pull off the pool, first of all, when we pull off the pool, then I think the games are going to go very well. But can we pull off the pool is the question. So no red source, not a big deal. Bandit's Hall eventually. Plenty of land. I'm going to keep this. Plenty of land to draw into. We have that turn 1 Duress as well. Crawling Chorus. And we're gonna stick to the turn 1 Duress, I would say. Sheltered by Ghosts. Oh, buddy. Okay, well. Sheltered by Ghosts. The Get Lost is scary too, of course, but yeah, I don't think that's what we want the opponent to have. Oh, they're missing a green source. That's great news. All right, we could go push onto the Crawling Chorus. They just get 1/1 back. Not worth it. I'm going to set up with the Restless Fortress for the turn and keep the pool ready for late game. Seeing some more of our top end would be terrific here. Theater, okay. Theater can be our turn 4 land then, and then we can still play the Bloodletter. We're kind of sort of in danger here, man. Oh no, Annex Entry picks up Bandit's Hall. I overlooked that completely, guys. Completely overlooked the fact that that can pick up artifacts too. Well, we still have our turn 4. Ooh, Enduring Tenacity. That could be decent. It blocks a little better on the ground, but Get Lost. Get Lost is going to hit any of these anyways. Maybe we should take the turn to pool the Duelist. We're at 5 poison, so going to be at 7 poison next turn. Get Lost is going to remove something anyways. Crap, guys. I should have played the Raucous Theater this turn. I didn't really consider the removal, but with that much poison, the double strike on the Duelist, we're in so much danger here. They do find their green source finally for the Rot Priest. 7 poison. Raucous Theater. See what's on top. Virtue. Yeah, it's going to be 1 poison from the Rot Priest. I think we're dead. We need to find a board wipe and survive next turn somehow, which I don't think we do. We'll get the Enduring Tenacity down. And then, oh yeah, they just spot remove it right here, right now. So actually, yeah, we're dead regardless. They have 3 more poison. Wow, good game, opponent. I don't know what we could have done there, guys. Overall, well, first of all, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Everything we saw that game probably wasn't going to be enough to deal with that. However, if we were up against normal aggro, we probably would have been in the same situation, right? So I don't know about that. We'll see if we can do something a little bit more here, because I can't even say, like, we'll see if we can draw better, right? Because it's not like we weren't seeing what the deck list was supposed to be giving us. So, how you guys feel about slow hands? I'm going to try it. Gonna give it a shot since we got some surveilling to do. 5th mana, not necessary yet. We got plenty of drawing to do. Another Valgavoth, huh? I mean, that would have been the preferable target for the surveil land, but... Okay. Mana. I'm gonna send it. I guess, right? We might need a lot of mana, but... Do we need that right now? Bloodletter is out of here, because that's the thing we're closest to, and so that's definitely what they want to grab. Outside of that, yeah, it's definitely not Valgavoth, especially since we have 2 of them. And Bloodthirsty Conqueror is still pretty far away. So we could thin the deck list with the Fable, but now that I sent 2 lands off the top, we probably don't do that. We'll save Fable for next turn, because we're going to need our 5th. Of course, keeping Bitter Triumph open instead of just doing it now could mean Counterspell. But I don't mind them countering the Bitter Triumph. Get a Valgavoth into the grave first of all, because it is a Reanimator build. Okay, Bloodletter's back. And they pass it back, guys. Wow. Okay. We do find our 5th, but it's going to be tapped land. We're going to attempt to play the Bloodletter of Aclazotz. We got everything we need on this board, right? But I'm still going to grab another red source in case we see the Aurelia. Because we'll have the second white source here on the Backstreet. Wait, we had 2 red sources. I don't know what I'm thinking there. That's fine. Triple red source is totally fine. They pass it back. They're missing land, guys. That makes me a little sad, but that doesn't mean they're out of this. Could be more counter spells. Oh, Bloodthirsty Conqueror lands. Oh, cool. Nice. Floodpit's Drowner. Oh. Well, that's not how I wanted to win. Opponent. I'll give you some land, buddy. I'll pass some land your way. So Floodpit's Drowner, that's interesting. Enters, tap target creature an opponent controls with a stun counter. Then they can pay 1 and a blue. Tap it. Shuffle Floodpit's Drowner and target creature with the stun counter on it into their owner's library. I think that's really neat, actually. I mean, that's one way to just banish the Conqueror, and then we had nothing in hand anyways. Honestly, it could have easily started leading towards the opponent there. Even though they missed mana, they still had a few turns of just surviving. Unless we actually drew into some of our reanimation too. So far, a big thing, of course, is going to actually be surviving long enough to have 6 mana on the board and actually pulling off the pool. Like, there's a lot that the deck list is trying to do. I'm considering more board wipes already. I am. But we have to do more testing first, for sure. Right. Perfect hand. Very nice. Probably Bitter Reunion if we don't have to take something out with Bitter Triumph right away. Yeah, this is much better overall. I'll copy the opponent's play with the swamp. Caves of Koilos. Zombify, nice. Wow, this is just like such a better hand. It's not even funny. First of all, it's going to be Bitter Reunion. We're going to ditch the Bloodthirsty Conqueror. Okay, Vein Ripper and our 3rd mana. Great news. 3rd mana means Bandit's Hall. In that first game against Toxic, do you guys suppose actually having the Bandit's Hall on the board, like if they didn't have removal for it, do you guys think that would have helped? I'm not that sure. Bandit's Hall is on the board. So far, nothing from the opponent but mana. And it looks like they're going to be passing it back again, so I can only imagine a lot of spot removal is chilling in the opponent's hand. Okay, so we have Zombify, bring back Conqueror. That's okay, I guess, but I'd rather hit something a little bit chunkier. So, of course, we'll start with the Surveil land. We could see a Valgavoth. Bloodletter. I'll send it. Don't need another Bloodletter right now. And having one in the grave could be good. Oh, probably going to have one in the grave right now anyways, huh? So maybe I should have kept it on top. Let's see what happens to the Bloodletter. Because something that Orzhov colors could have is exile removal as well. It's going to be a Fountain Port. Alright. 5th mana. They pass it back. Okay. Well, now I'm very curious to see what's in the opponent's hand, right? But, we could Zombify the other Bloodletter before the swing. That's big damage, it is, but, oh, wait. We have enough mana. I don't know what I'm thinking there. Let's start with the Duress. If it's spot removal, now's the time. Before we take it out of their hand. Outrageous Robbery for 3. Oh, crap. There's so many good things that they could hit here. Oh, crap, dude. Go for the throat, Anoint with Affliction, Day of Judgment. Crap, dude. Okay, Day of Judgment probably, right? Although, I don't know what they hit with that Outrageous Robbery. We're just gonna go for the Zombify. We could also... We don't need the life gain right now. It's just gonna be the Bloodletter, right? I think that's fine. Yeah, we probably should have just drawn the Bloodletter then and just played it instead, but it is what it is. This is the path I chose, I suppose. We're just 1 mana short from the Vein Ripper play, too. They find our deadly cover-up, guys. It's only a 1-of. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's really good for them. They're also going to hit the rest of our Bloodletters, too. So that's out of the game, but that's fine. Tapped mana. Okay. Alright. At least it's mana. We don't need that mana right now, right? We don't need another one. Well, this is awkward. Passing it back. They'll have instant speed spot removal open for the Vein Ripper too. So even if we played the Vein Ripper, we still would have had to rely on bringing it back eventually. Okay, Bitter Reunion was another card they took from us. They ditched the Anoint with Affliction. Passing it back. It's more mana, guys. Okay. Start with the Surveil, see what we see. Land. I don't think we need more mana right now. I'll also send that. Like, the deck list always wants to have more mana, but... So, what's nice here is, well, I could have had the 7. Oh, they don't have a creature, guys. Oh, now they do. So they can do it on their turn. That's okay, though. Yeah, if we would have kept the Swamp, we would have had the 7 for the Virtue. Definitely something to consider, guys. I'm kind of butchering the deck list as far as I can tell, but I can't really tell. I can't tell if I'm making decent decisions or I don't know when it's leaning in our favor. So they can sacrifice the Fishy. Get a little bit of life gain here. And luckily... Oh, hey, Vein Ripper target, so we do get the Bandit's Hall, so we'll have the draw on that as well. It's great news. On it down to 11. We do end up finding the mana anyways, which I guess we just go for, huh? Wait, 1, 2, 3. Have I just not been counting this whole time? What have I been doing, man? We had enough without that mana. Okay. Okay, Virtue of Persistence. Yeah, we had enough because of the Bandits Hall. I've just like not been counting the Bandits Hall for no reason. What's great here, of course, getting the Virtue down. Bringing something back every single turn should be just devastating for the opponent, but we'll see. I think this could be anyone's game. Bloodthirsty Conqueror was the other card that they hit. Okay. Luckily... Okay, they're gonna give it haste too. They're playing our build, guys. We don't have Bitter Triumph open. Going back up to 16 here because of the Conqueror's ability. A tapped land. So two, what I would call very slow deck lists colliding here. Oh, creatures your opponent's control enter tapped. Wow. Dude, that totally ruins the haste from the Bitter Reunion. Crap, dude. Right, so it's Vein Ripper, first of all. Enters tapped, they gain 1 life. Duress, alright, we start with that. Rip something out of the opponent's hand for sure. Destroy all creatures, gain 1 life for each creature destroyed. Anoint with Affliction. We don't have any poison. The Anoint with Affliction isn't bad. It's probably... The Destroy all creatures isn't that bad either, honestly. It's probably Union. I think that's fine. Probably take the 3 from the Bitter Triumph, but probably start with the draw on the Bandits Hall first. Yeah, we'll take the 3. I think I want the Surveil on the Theater. Push and pull. Everything's coming back tapped anyways. If it comes out tapped, there's no point to have push and pull, right? There's literally no point. They'll come back tapped and not do anything. Well, they could sacrifice each other. I'll keep it. I'll keep it. That's fine. Before they untap too, actually, yeah, I'll take the 3, get rid of the Conqueror, and we'll keep the other. Crap, they gain another 3 because of that too. But they lose another 2 because of the Vein Ripper. Holy cow, guys. Alright, my only hope is that they don't rip more cards off the top of our build. I feel like our build's very scary at this point in the game. GG opponent, wow. I'm actually shocked. I played that out very poorly. I think I could have played that much, much better. Yeah, I still had fun. Right. What were we up against, guys? What was that? That's one of those things where if it's mid-range versus mid-range, you're just hoping that your engine does a little bit more, and it kind of feels like both of our engines ran out of gas at the end there. We were just top deck war. However, I was actually much more afraid of what the opponent was doing. The other Duress was actually beautiful, being able to peer into their hand and kind of, you know, put us at ease a little bit. Opponent goes first. Couple land. The Surveil land for turn 1, we could find more. Obviously, we're going to need a lot of land here, and push is probably going to be the thing that we use over the pool for this game, if we keep this. I'm going to keep the 7. Yeah, I think we can do this. Hopeless Nightmare. No, this is a great time to get rid of the Vein Ripper. I was going to say, since we have 2 Bloodletters, but... Deadly Cover-Up, that's probably going to be good news. Mana on top, yep. Yeah, we got a lot of land packed in, guys. Okay, push not doing anything this turn. We might as well take the turn for our tapped land. Okay, Fear of Missing Out. Fear of Missing Out probably should have been in the honorable mentions for this list, right? Fabled Passage, that's what you like to see. However, it's been some very slow turns, man. Yeah, well, we do have a lot of things to do in the early game, but right now we're not really seeing those things. Okay. Bloodthirsty Conqueror. I mean, let's be real. This is a very top-heavy build, though, too, so... push and pull, taking out the Fear of Missing Out. They already have an enchantment creature in the grave anyways. It's probably just Zombify, though. I don't know how easy it'll be for them to deal with Vein Ripper. Turn 4 Vein Ripper here, right? So, based on this hand, we already have 3 black sources on the board. It's totally safe to grab that mountain. Of course, I'd rather pull it from the grave when it comes time. I mean, this is just so good, though. We should definitely do that. We should definitely do that, yeah. I was thinking if we set up with Bloodletter and stuff, then maybe we could hit for much, much more. I'll go for it. I'll try the block. Nowhere to run. I'm going to have to sacrifice the 2-1, then it ends up... Oh, the ward cost, guys, doesn't count with the nowhere to run. Okay, so Vein Ripper goes back to the grave. Eventually, we'll bring it back, right? 5th mana is pretty good. Bloodthirsty Conqueror is probably the play because it blocks the Forge a little bit better. And now we're getting to that point in the game, too, where we're going to be able to dump our top end every turn. And of course, any extra mana is going to be pretty good, too, to eventually pull the Vein Ripper back. Another Forge is actually terrifying, guys. This Deadly Cover-Up is not going to do much here. I was excited for the Deadly Cover-Up, but... Wow, they tapped out, guys. This is going to be a huge turn for us. Bloodletter number 3 in hand, too. A lot of life gain. They're down to 6. We're up to 26. They need some removal for this Conqueror, but then what are they going to do about Bloodletter? And we have another Bloodletter in hand if we just want to take this damage and not risk the Bloodletter's death, but... Or if we want to take the damage... What am I trying to say there? I'm trying to say... Okay, GG opponent. That's what I'm trying to say. GG. I was trying to say we can risk the Bloodletter because we have so many of them in hand anyways. Nice. Okay. I don't know. I kind of like, I'm on the fence right now. The early game shouldn't feel as slow as it does, and so we might need to do some rearranging. And I keep saying we have a lot of land, but right now I'm blanking. I think we have 26, but we might only have 25, and I'm pretty sure this is the type of deck list where you want to see mana every single turn of the game. So, I don't know. I'll have to double check that too, and maybe in the final thoughts. But if we do just have 25, it's been feeling all right enough. Yeah, here's some of our early stuff. We go first. This is great. This is a really good hand. Crap. I'm going to keep the Bitter Reunion. Helping us see more for a few turns in a row could be really, really good. We'll ditch the Bloodthirsty Conqueror because we are a Reanimator build in the long run. Aurelia, the Warleader, cool. I am pretty sure that they want to counter the Liliana, but we still try it. And we'll go plus, and we'll ditch the Warleader. And just like having Liliana on the board, that seems pretty awesome.
You're telling me what you know.
Aurelia. We have no white sources, guys. The Warleader is going to have to be reanimated this game for sure. Belong to Phyrexis. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not great news. Maybe I should have... Oh, wow. Vraska's Fall. That's a way to get around a Planeswalker, huh? All right, let's start with the Surveil, then get the Unstoppable Slasher down. Zombify, yeah. Keep that. Now, Slasher would have come back with the stun counters on it, so all that's very noteworthy. Zombify before combat? Probably Surveil first, then, because we could see like a Valgavoth or something. I'm imagining... Okay, Serum Snare, they're going to bounce the Slasher. Proliferate. That's 3 poison. Push and pull. What's in our grave? Yeah. We want that. We want that. For sure. So we don't want another bounce spell. But we do want to get a counter spell out of their hand. No. The same concept with the Slasher then. So, actually Slasher just lands, no problem. So I guess we'll try the haste then, right? Oh, okay. It's going to be Anoint with Affliction. Crap. Well, that exiles it too. So they wanted our haste to go bye-bye. But now the hope here is lose 2 life. Each opponent gets a poison counter. They have 2 mana open, guys. What do you guys think? Do we try it? We try it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on back. Woo, buddy. Woo, buddy. Oh, no. They still have removal. No, opponent. You get away. Anoint with Affliction. Well, crap, guys. At least we still have Zombify. We are going up to 25 here. The pool sacrifices. Man, okay. Okay, we're in danger, dude, for real. 3 cards still in the opponent's hand. Another pool's great, but we're actually just out of creatures. So maybe we... Huh. I don't know what we want to do. Maybe it's just a normal Zombify for the turn. If we had 2 creatures in the grave... Look, we can still pool the Conqueror, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that's... I don't know. Bloodletter. Yeah, our deck list is doing so many different things. I feel like Bloodletter works well with a lot of different things in here, though. I like it as a 4 of so far. 5 poison, guys. We really are in trouble, so... And now we have 2 creatures in the grave, so if I would have sent the Zombify instead... But Zombify was going to be the play if we didn't see anything else next turn. Well, let's try the Virtue of Persistence. We got 2 cards remaining, guys. It lands. Wow. So Serum Snare is non-land permanent too, so we can't forget that. Might is also going to start pushing some poison through. Still got 2 cards in hand. Let's go ahead and bring back the Conqueror. Zombify can hit the Bloodletter. Let's thin the deck list and grab a white source. Even though our Aurelia's out, I guess it doesn't really matter, though. I'll grab the plains. We're going for it. I'm pretty sure the opponent's going to have something, but that's not going to stop me from trying because we're in danger, dude, for real. Bring the ending. Well, yeah, and all the life gain from the Conqueror isn't doing too much. We'll pop the Bitter Reunion and we'll try. Swing for 5. Nice. So we're up to 29. Not like it matters, though, right? They just need 4 more poison. They got 2 on the board. The best thing we can do is, well, Virtue of Persistence, bring back our Bloodletter, and then swing for 10, hopefully. It's just mana, so this has to land. Or we can keep 2 blockers back. Not worth it. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Ah. Opponent. No. That's game. If we kept 2 blockers back, it wouldn't have mattered because they still had the Proliferate. Oh, wait. Whisper of the Dross didn't kill the... Guys, I can't. I can't. Like, for sure, dude. Like, you guys could tell, I've been running into just way too much spot removal. Everything's dying all the time. Whisper of the Dross is just -1/-1. So it's still a 4/4, which still doubles to 8. I thought my creature died, and at that point, I gave in to despair. That's really funny. Man. No, I mean, I have to know what cards I'm up against, huh? Jeez, man. That was awesome. Let's keep going. I think we could have Easily died there. Easily. They didn't see any of their card draw, did they? Oh man, that was funny. Seriously, I thought the creature was dead. I thought it was going to pass back. They were going to swing with their mites, and that was it. Keep. Yeah, now we're like seeing our early stuff, which is just super essential. And especially these bitter reunions and triumphs and everything. All the early bitter cards. Early removal, of course, is very important. Actually going to send mana here, because Bloodletter is probably just going to be played on turn 4. And push and pool. Start with the Surveil. Unstoppable Slasher. So we got that push and pull eventually, but I think we're still just going to keep the Slasher on top, right? I'll try the Bitter Reunion. If they counter it, that's fine. And I'll send the third Bitter Reunion. Just still keeping the Bloodletter in hand is totally fine. Okay. Okay. We'll try Bloodletter for next turn, probably. Or we could go Slasher and try to get around that way. Kitty cats. Valgavoth. Man, that would have been a good discard for the Bitter Reunion, huh? Well, we should probably get rid of the first Fang. It's probably going to be a problem going wide against a deck list that only has one. Well, we have Surprise Bloodletter. Never mind. I'm gonna risk it. And the deck list. Oh, sure. Why not? Why not, dude? Let's go. We'll see what they do here. Probably take the 10. Or, they take 2, then... Oh, they end up chumping. Okay. That makes sense, too, because they're probably going to get their kitty cat back this turn. So we kind of used removal for the turn. Kind of, sort of, if we want to think about it that way. Streetwise Negotiator. Nice. It has the backup, too. Assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power, but the backup really just given a counter here. Going for 3 Bloodletter. So they're going to have chump blockers for days then, is the problem. Eventually we want to just try pooling. And Bitter Triumph. We're not going to be able to pool this game, I don't think. So we're probably just going to have to push a Rabo here. Only destroys target tapped creature. In other words, I would try to get some excess through. The chump blocks for days. We're going to keep Bitter Triumph open for their turn. See what this Slasher can get up to. Oh, double block. Okay. 1 damage to each of them. I'll take it. And then Slasher comes back with that stun counter. Yeah, that's not bad, especially when we have Bitter Triumph open and ready to send the Valgavoth. It feels a little bad losing the push and pull, but... my Unstoppable Slasher. No! At least it's not hitting our big things, though. And then also map tokens eventually. And also, now that it's in the grave, we can eventually pull it, too. Oh, the Retreat. Oh, that's fun, opponent. Okay. So actually, Bitter Triumph not doing anything here. More mana off the top would, of course, be sick, but, well, they didn't play their mana yet. Well, I guess Bitter Triumph could pick up a 2-2. Okay. I guess so. We'll discard Valgavoth, because there's no way we're going to be casting it this game, right? We actually have to just reanimate that when it comes time. Push and pool. Hey! Couple more mana, guys. See, I said that swamp earlier, but I'm going to stick by that, especially now that we have map tokens as well. Helpful Hunter, draw a card. No mana for the turn. Ooh, Duress. Ooh. Probably just the other Bloodletter of Aclazotz though, right? Because instead of going Duress, pick up some of their spot removal out of their hand, we could just play other Bloodletter and then their spot removal would land anyways. Oh, good damage, guys. Flanker gonna gain them some life. Scry 2. Feel like they might have wanted to exile target player's graveyard, but if they have a second flanker, then they don't have to worry about that. Also gaining 2, I guess that makes a little bit of sense since we have double Bloodletter here as well. So mana off the top would have been decent. This time, instead of going third Bloodletter, I'm going to try to take some of their spot removal out of their hand and then just plug the map tokens onto the Aclazotz. Soul Partition. I mean, we kind of were expecting this, but that would have just happened during combat instead. So the Duress does end up missing, and now we just go map tokens. See what we see here. Because land, of course, would be great. Nice, nice. So we do that again. Enduring Tenacity. We're going to send it. I don't think we're going to die next turn if we swing. So I think we swing. They got 7 on the board. I don't think they can do an excess 10 unless they draw something with the Helpful Hunter, put counters on each creature with a land. Still got to be 10. I'm taking the swing, guys. I'm taking it. I'll tell you what, if they can actually pull through an extra 10 damage on their turn, then they deserve it, dude, for real. See what they draw here. Because it could be another First Fang, boost their cats, and then a land. GG opponent. Wow. We didn't really get to do too many fun things, but at least the deck list is performing, right? Right? So if we survived the turn and they found removal for the Bloodletter, and if we saw mana off the top, which is probably a pretty good chance. Well, there's also a good chance that it would have been tapped land too. So we still would have had another slow turn. The deck list feels pretty slow, and we might need to think about changing some stuff around to help it feel faster, or just more testing required too. End of video pack, guys. Let's do this. Oh, nice. I haven't played with this yet. Bellow of the Woods. Cool. Wait, have I played with this? Power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands. I feel like maybe I had that in a one of in some land deck at some point, but I actually don't think I got to get it onto the table at all. Another pack here. Bloom Tender. Okay. I guess that's an older format, right? And then Archmage of the Ruins. Or Archmage of Ruins, I mean. Okay. Sure. Not the most exciting of end game or end video packs, but all right, guys. Here's the deck list again. Huh. I'm kind of split on this. It kind of felt decent, but it also felt really slow, didn't it? Virtue of Persistence. Do we need the double Valgavoth, guys? I like the one of Aurelia. Instant speed spot removal is probably going to mess that up a lot more than you would hope, though, too. But that's going to happen a lot when you're pulling things back from the grave, which, again, we got to rearrange because, see, when I say we have a lot of early things, that includes push. Push just being forced to be removal so you can survive longer. And Liliana, too. Actually, okay, the 4 Bloodletter of Aclazotz. We also didn't get to pull off the combo. Yeah, it's like the deck list didn't get to do too many things, but what it did pretty decently enough is play the mid game well, right? The mid game happened and we had a lot of value, and all while pushing good damage through too. And hopefully being hasty damage with things like Bitter Reunion or pooling as well. So Vein Ripper was good. I think a second Deadly Cover-Up over the second Valgavoth. But I can also see the second Virtue of Persistence over the second Valgavoth. I just feel like double Valgavoth is a lot. Because here's what we're doing, right? This whole top end, there's 4 creatures here. Vein Ripper, Aurelia, Valgavoth. Yeah, sure. All those are great to reanimate. But also, it's also great to reanimate Conqueror, Tenacity, Bloodletter of Aclazotz, especially when you're bringing back 2 of them at the same time while pooling it for 6 mana. Oh, mana, guys. It's 25, actually. Okay. Could I see 26 in here? Since we have ramp with Bandit's Hall? No, I can't see 26. Oh, man. Maybe. Oh, the one of Unstoppable Slasher was pretty cool. I wouldn't actually go up any of these, and Duress hits its mark, so I think I would keep the 3 of these as well. And if you drop it down to 2, you're going to be seeing them less and less in your opening hand, which is realistically when you want to see them, but also seeing them in the mid-game against control matches and stuff. That's also fine. Again, you're trying to pick up the opponent's control spells and ditch them into the grave, and counters in particular, right? So that way they can't counter our big top end like pool and everything. I could see 26 mana in this list. I'll do the rearranging again, I suppose. What are we thinking here, man? What are we thinking? It kind of felt like something needs changed, but also it performed pretty well too. There's like a more testing required for sure. I love all the different combos. I love how the deck list just brings so many different ideas together, and it plays well with one another, right? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. What else could we do early game that could help us? More Virtue of Persistence. That's definitely something I'm considering, but I think just the other Deadly Cover-Up is going to be fine too, especially when it's easy to collect evidence in here when we are sending stuff to the grave anyways. The Surveil lands, guys. Let's talk about this mana base for a second. Let's move some things over here so I can wiggle the mana base around. Okay. So as you guys can see, 80% black sources in here. We're heavily leaning towards the swamps. And then we have the splash of white and the splash of red. And the splash of red is a little bit heavier since we have Bitter Reunion, which I'd say is a pretty key card in here. I was always very happy to see Bitter Reunion in our opener. So we're splashing that red. So we got the Verge. And luckily the Verge also, if we miss a swamp or a mountain, it's also just going to be a swamp. So nice. That's what we want. We're heavily leaning towards the black mana. Verge is perfect. So also you can see Theater since it's a swamp and a mountain. So that also works really well with the Verge, but also Surveil working really well with a Reanimator deck list. Fable can help us find a mountain, plains, or a swamp and also thins the deck a little bit. That's probably fine. Again, I'm looking at that 25 mana and I'm sweating about it a little bit. Like maybe it should be 26. So Shadowy Backstreet, Plains, and Swamp. So you can also see Shadowy Backstreet and have the Verge be just an awesome dual land that taps for Rakdos colors. And then we have a couple Restless Fortress as the Restless land of choice, because of course if we're missing everything else, then powering this up and swinging on in has that bottom ability where each player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life, which of course works really well with the Tenacity and the Conqueror as well. So that Restless land makes a lot of sense. All the lands make a lot of sense to me. Actually, it felt pretty darn good, and the mana base felt stable overall. I'd say it's going to be difficult to just outright cast the Warleader, so bringing it back with Zombify or Push and Pull is going to make the most sense. Not too much card draw packed in, but Bandit's Hall acting as some of the card draw is going to be fine. Also, Bitter Reunion is, we can count that as card draw too, even though you're filtering in Reanimator is, especially when it replaces itself as well, kind of got to consider it card draw. Because anything that you have in your grave is kind of just extra power later on in the game when you actually start reanimating. Huh. Yeah. I'm split on this one though, guys. Like, I really am. I feel like we just need more speed at the beginning, but I guess more testing required. There's also something to be said if you're not a big fan of the 4 Bloodletter of Aclazotz. Like, this is one of the main reasons we're able to push through so much damage in that mid-game. If you drop it down to 3, then that could be the case for the 26th mana or the second Virtue of Persistence. I can see 3 Bloodletter of Aclazotz, but I'm not 100% certain, as I really liked the 4, and I always loved how Bloodletter works well with itself too. And as you go Bloodletter into Bloodletter, all of a sudden the opponent's sweating, especially if you're controlling their board state well enough. Yeah, I like our change. Drop a Valgavoth, up a Deadly Cover-Up. That should help a little bit at least. And then I'm really just really thinking about that 26 mana, and maybe we would drop Bloodletter down to 3 for the 26, but I'm not really sure. I think just more testing required overall. All right, guys. First of all, too, put it on the do not craft list, because put everything on the do not craft list for a couple weeks after a new set releases. No one knows where the set meta is going to settle. I would probably say put this on the do not craft list anyways, even if the meta already did settle. Because it's very expensive. There's a lot of mythics in here. Valgavoth, Aurelia, Vein Ripper, Bloodthirsty Conqueror is mythic, Bloodletter is mythic, Liliana is mythic, Slasher? No. Virtue of Persistence is mythic as well. So common, common, uncommon, 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 rare, rare, uncommon, rare. That's a lot of mythics, guys. And then the mana base, of course, has a lot of rares too, but you can always use those in another deck list. Seriously, though, I would just say put it on the do not craft list regardless. Just more testing required. We'll have to revisit something similar in the future. Maybe a more stable reanimator list that does a little bit less. But again, that's kind of what I like about this list. It's just doing so much, and I feel like all of it kind of works really well with each other too. So yeah, a lot of cool synergies. Some of the synergies are kind of hard to see until they're actually on the board too. So that tells you there's a lot of synergies packed in then. All right, guys. Hey, enough rambling. Thank you again for the suggestion over in the Discord. I really do appreciate all of your guys' suggestions. Yeah, I think this suggestion was specifically just to try out Bloodthirsty Conqueror with push and pull. So that's what we did. Yeah. All right. Hey, let me know what you thought of the deck list. I guess I'm relatively confused by it, and I kind of want to play like another 5 games and see how those go. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't know how it would go if we continue playing. I would assume that it would be janky, but at the same time, boy, it felt relatively powerful. Okay. Yeah. I'm just split. Anyways, guys, now actually enough rambling, huh? And I will see you in the next video.